Let me know when we're live, because I'm gonna be
We're
super behind
live.
on that one. Oh boy! Wow, I'm
Welcome back
delayed.
to Owl
Hi.
Watch. That's
Oh
Ken
boy.
over there who's not sure what's going on. I'm
No, I
Don.
need help. I need an adult.
Welcome back to what is normally our podcast segment. I don't know if we can call this a podcast anymore. It's kind of just a shit show.
Yeeth. Well, welcome to the shit show that is my life. I mean, Owl Watch.
I think just let me know when we're live is just going to be our thing now.
Okay.
It's there. It's us.
Yeah, really, every stream we have, one of us is like, just let me know. Uh,
Also, let us know how audio is. We were having some issues with it, so just if it's bad, let us know. We'll try to get it rectified. Oh, you're lagging real bad, aren't you?
yes.
Okay, this is good.
No, I can hear you. No.
Your video just
No,
like
no,
froze
no.
for a second.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
no,
we
it's
missed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we've been gone for a while. Like the whole league expanded a lot. There's like new players and stuff.
Yeah,
I think there's like teams now, like new ones. I don't know.
a lot. What?
Uh, no, wait.
Wait.
Ah, I have
Wait,
to fix that. Hold on.
we're not used to having somebody so active in chat.
I don't want that.
We'll get that fixed.
I don't want that. I'm fixing it. Oh, there it is.
You got
Okay.
it? Cool. But yeah, there is 8 new teams that are being added to the league. 8. We were supposed to get 6 from what we heard early on, and we're actually getting 8, and my cat is just being annoying. Oh my gosh. Of course, we're trying to do a podcast, and he wants to play.
Kiss him. Kiss his face. Go.
Later.
Just like that.
Later. So, Ken,
So-
new teams. Let's get on topic.
All right. So originally we started with what, like 4 teams? I think Blizzard said they wanted to expand to.
6, I believe, but yeah.
Okay.
Only
So
2
we went
were
from 6 to
announced.
8.
Yeah.
Yes. So we went from 12 teams to 20 teams, which is a huge jump up, almost doubling the league in one season, which is great. There are some teams I'm very excited about, some teams that I didn't see coming at all.
Yes.
Both of us have lost the slap bet because neither of us were even close to being right.
Yeah, I think we were just
So that's just a wash.
generic. There's going to be Canada, not Toronto, Vancouver. I don't think either of us said DC. Nobody thought 3 China teams. Paris, I think we both got.
I think you had said Atlanta down the road.
Maybe. You have the
But that's
document
about it.
somewhere.
Yes, Dan, they can be a wash.
Dan,
When nobody wins them, they're a wash.
We've had plenty slap bets that have just ended up being washes. But yeah, so 8
but-
teams. We've announced some of them. I'll go through them real quickly here, and I apologize for anybody who speaks fluent Chinese. This is going to be bad. So we have
If you are, please let me know and talk to me afterward
Yeah.
so I know
let it help
certain
us
things.
fix it.
But go on.
So we have Vancouver, Toronto, are the 2 Canadian teams, which I am
Which,
thrilled about.
hooray, my sister wanted them so badly. She lost her mind when she found out they were coming
Yeah,
in.
I think I was kind of surprised there wasn't one to start. So glad we're now getting 2. We also have Paris being added as a second European team, which is nice. Again, thought there was going to be more.
I can't
But
wait for that. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, no,
Speaking of
that's
which,
gonna be
in the World Cup, I believe they play tomorrow, I think.
I don't know. I haven't been keeping up on it, unfortunately. But we also have DC, which I am really excited about because I live in the DC area. So hopefully there will be some local meetups and things like that happening. So that'll be fun. Finally, a close team. We also have Atlanta, so another Eastern Coast team, which I'm fine with another U.S. team. Just would love to see a little bit more Europe expansion, but maybe next season. already talking about season 3. All right, here's where the fun begins. We have Hangzhou, something like that. We have Chengdu and Guangzhou. I apologize. Those were probably terrible. Those are the 3 new Chinese teams. So now we have 4 Chinese teams in total. So there's going to definitely be a battle for China.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge thing. I'm honestly surprised that they went with 3 new China teams versus
Like a Korean team, or like
well,
you
they
said
talked
before,
about that, but they
Japan.
didn't do like. There's no Japanese team,
Yeah,
but we have 4 Chinese teams and 1 Korean team. Like that, the numbers seem weird to me. Just
It-
because I know,
it may have
like,
been a situation where there weren't any serious offers from a Japanese funded team, or like I know Busan, I think was mentioned, that area in Korea. But maybe there just wasn't a serious offer to put a team there. I don't know, because if we're talking 20 to 40 million, I think it was, or maybe it was 30 to 60 million. It was
30 to 60. Yeah,
so there's a lot of money involved. So maybe there just weren't the offers there.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's this weird catch-22 as well, where you don't want a team to just like rush in because they have the money and then do garbage and like not build a fan base, because like with the inaugural season, China or Shanghai doing so poorly was like oh, but it's season 1, nobody knew what to expect and they became a league sweetheart because of it.
Yeah.
If we have teams going into seasons 2, 3, 4 in the future where it's like, oh, they had 1 win, they had 2 wins, they had like less than 10 wins across the season with hopefully 20 to 30 teams, 20 at least, that's just degrading the game itself to where people aren't going to want to watch, because you're going to have this huge jump between your top 10, let's just say, right, with like 20, 30 wins in the season versus your bottom half, which will never see a win for the rest of the time they play.
Well,
And that's
I mean,
just going to deter people,
you're going
at least
to
in my
have,
opinion.
say, the 2 worst teams play each other, so somebody's going to get a win. There may only ever be one team that will not win in a season. But I agree, it's kind of a concern, but we also don't know if they're going to change the format up at all. Because, yeah, right now they have 4 stages with 10 games each. With 20 teams, that's a lot of Overwatch, which I'm absolutely fine with. But it becomes a little bit tougher to do it in 3 or 4 days out of the week. So there may be some changes going up where they only do, say, 2 stages, but you still stick to the 3 or 4 days a week. Everyone still plays those 10 games just across a wider span. You get a little bit more time in between games, and then you can actually work on something, have a little bit more time to prepare. So say Shanghai's playing Houston. Now there's 2 weeks or so to prepare for that game, and they can actually, get a strategy together.
Work on strategy. Yeah,
Exactly. But that's
absolutely.
That's something
I
I don't
agree
think
with
will be
that.
announced for a long time. Until
True.
beginning of the season.
I may.
Ken, you froze? Okay. We lost Ken somehow. So I'm just going to keep
Because
going.
mine
Yeah,
apparently is not alive anymore.
you're back. Okay. I don't
Am
know
I
what-
here?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but you're back.
I had to switch to a mobile network for my thing to work.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to switch to my phone being a hotspot to
Yeah.
do this.
You need to move.
Yeah, I know. Don't remind me. So again, I'm sorry if I look a little disinterested at the moment. I'm trying to make sure that this can continue to go on. I don't just die.
I mean, you're cutting in and out a little bit, but we'll power through for the time being and see what happens.
Better than before. I have 54 over 3 now.
That's still terrible, but
Yes,
something.
I know.
So
Remember.
we'll quit going off topic and try to get straight to the point here, so we can not kill
Cover as
everyone's
much as
ears.
possible.
As my cat almost turned off my computer. Say bye to the cat, everybody. He
Goodbye,
needs to
cat.
go.
So,
Uh,
but yes, with the new teams, like you were saying, to recap for myself, the having more Overwatch in a season, I think, is going to do a lot for the sport itself. And I don't mean that in just a game sense. I mean that in an actual like a strategy can be made because it was so very quick of back and forth between all right, and I'm just using names like Fuel. You have a game Thursday, and then you have a game late Friday, and then Saturday. Okay, but now you have one Friday and Saturday. You have no real time to prepare throughout the week to fix all these issues.
yeah.
You know,
No, I
so
agree. That's why I think they may lean towards changing the strategy up or the format up somewhat. Maybe just a longer season so you can still get in up to 40 games. Just extend it a little bit. But
yeah,
again, we won't know until probably the preseason or just before the preseason.
yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah, that's going to be as it comes through. I believe free agency is until December 1st, I think.
yeah, I think free agency for everybody opens October 7th.
Uh-huh.
So right now it's just the new 8 teams who can sign people, sign free agents, that is.
Which is fair.
Trades can still happen, all of that stuff. But in terms of just pure free agents, only the new teams can sign. The
Yeah.
existing teams can re-sign players they already had,
Mm.
but they can't sign anybody from outside of their roster without trading for them.
Yeah. It's which again I find fair, very much so for the
Oh, absolutely. Give
the
them
new
first
teams.
pick, basically first pick. Like, all right, you guys can see what you want out of everybody else that didn't necessarily play, and then figure it out come October 7th, and it's a free for all, and just make
Good
up
luck.
your at least 7-man roster.
Yeah. Which I forget the deadline for that, but Blizzard issued a statement essentially saying, oh, yeah, all season 2 teams must have at least 8 players signed by December 1st.
8 players.
Yes. So
Interesting.
I know it clearly says, actually, no, all season 2 teams. So that means London has to sign another player because they
Yeah,
only had
that's
7.
everybody. Interesting. That's good to know. At least there's no. You can have 7 people. You can have 12 people. Now it's all right. You have to have 8.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the max is still going to be 12. Which,
Most likely.
why would you want to go above 12? You don't even
Yeah.
play those other 6 for the most part, anyways. So.
I said that about Valiant how many months ago now? Where
Oh,
I'm like,
no,
we
I
have
was-
6 people we've never seen play.
Yeah, I was in complete agreement then. I will always be in complete agreement. There's just no point to that.
And I feel like London specifically now is going to have, because their 7th player is somebody that like any of the other teams would have in as like a main, and for London
Yeah.
it's their backup. So player 8 most likely will be at that same skill level,
Absolutely.
where it's going to be like, oh my god, like I don't think London at this point will be a force to be reckoned with this upcoming season, even with this like have to have 8 people thing.
Well, we've seen enough moves that I don't think anybody's going to be as dominant as New York was. I think it's going to be a little bit more rounded.
Mhm.
People are trying to sign up, trade for other people's star players, and doing whatever they can just to get a little bit more dispersion in the talent. Sure,
Yeah.
you still have to come up with the best strategy and the best teamwork and all of that stuff. And yeah, we may see New York style dominance, but I don't think it's going to be purely talent based.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And I'm going to wonder too if, let me just double check before I sound like an idiot. Players, yeah, okay. I was going to say, I wonder if they could get away with it with organization people, but it does say players, so they do. London is going to have to sign somebody. Shanghai is in a weird predicament right now because they have 3 players.
Yeah, well, let's just jump in with them first and pick another team and move forward. So after the season ended, we entered the period where teams can drop players, can re-sign players. This happened.
Wow.
This happened probably 2 weeks ago, um, and now we're seeing. I think pretty much every team has dropped who they want to drop, and now we're starting to see kind of what teams value as their core. So,
Yeah.
like you mentioned Shanghai, they dropped everybody except for 3 people.
The 3 people being Daya, Fearless, and Gaguri being DPS tank and tank flex respectively.
Yes. So
They did keep their team leader and their assistant coach, but currently they don't have a coach.
yeah, they did fire
A head
most
coach,
of their
I should say.
organization as well, or let go. Sorry. Um, so they're
Yeah,
definitely
because there
looking-
was, from everything I've been seeing via Twitter, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Very good.
Everybody seems to be, they formed a brotherhood, so to speak, inside of this esport right now, to where people are leaving and they're like, nah, you be nice to my player. He was on my team. You
Yeah.
better treat him right.
Everybody's become a family, and
Yeah.
no matter
Which
if
I'm very
you're
happy about.
a Gladiators fan or a Valiant fan, you're all Overwatch fans. So
We were in the All-Star weekend when it was Surefour.
yeah,
I was like, nah, man, that's LA. That's my Pacific Coast there. I want them to win.
well, exactly. I was
Uh,
rooting for Pacific, being a Dallas fan. So I'm glad to see the organizations are getting the same feeling that we are, as just this is a family. Let's all support each other and make this something great.
Now, I forget who I was talking with last night. Oh, I was watching a Krendor stream, and there's a point to this. This isn't an offshoot of how, in today's age, social media, the internet, that kind of thing is like a wild west in marketing, to where marketing strategies in like the 70s, 80s, 90s don't really work anymore because it's just a different media, a different place to advertise.
Yep.
So I've been seeing that they're hiring people specifically as like social media people, and from at least their Twitters, they're very on point with what's going on today on Twitter, something you would see happening.
Yeah.
Like, there's an old joke from when I was in high school of like memes started on 4chan, they hit Reddit, become kind of bad, then they hit like Instagram, Twitter, get even worse, then finally they end up on Facebook where your mom shares it, and by then it's like 6 months from
It's
now they're
dead.
garbage. For now, I'm watching teams, a new meme will come out and they're on top of it. They're ready to go. Like Valiant posted a thing today with like that keyboard cat nonsense that's going on with, I think, Kariv, like as the keyboard cat. And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
they're on point. They know what's
Yeah.
going on.
And then you had the teams are bantering back and forth. Like when Toronto started their Twitter, they asked what our name should be, what our team name should be, and I think it was London who came back with Toronto Ronto.
Yes.
So Toronto changed their name to Toronto Ronto, like only if you change yours to London Undon, and London did. And it's just been, they're not the only two. This is the first one that came to mind. But
Yeah.
teams have been bantering back and forth and just having a good time with it. And it's been great to see, I'm not going to lie.
Yes. Speaking of which, Toronto has their head coach and general manager. As you said that, I felt like looking at their thing, they have both of them, which
Yes.
is great.
Yes. Well, we can also, at this point, mention DC also has their head coach and general manager. Sorry, we'll go back to Toronto real quick. Jay is the general manager and Bishop is the head coach. Forgot
Yes.
to mention their names. Probably should have done that first. But DC also got their general manager, who is Kate,
And boy, oh boy.
and their head coach, which is Wizard Heong. And they also got a tank in Janice.
Now everybody that's watching. So this goes to you, Dan. You've been here for a bunch of them, and to you too, Jet. What team were both Wizard and Janice on? I'll give you a couple seconds to answer. You're right. It was Excelsior. So we're gonna get an Excelsior light down in DC. Don said that first, not me. But still, oh boy, that
I
is gonna be gnarly when they play New York.
I'm super excited for that because I guarantee there's going to be some event around where I live, even if it's actually in DC. I am going to DC and enjoying that with a bunch of Dan, you missed it by a couple seconds. I guess Ken didn't give you enough time. Sorry. But I'm definitely going to that fan event for especially that game. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a very quick like I'm taking off work and going to that. I don't care.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll just work from DC that day. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
We'll have to try and get a press pass for that. Be like, look, we have hopefully by then at least 20 podcasts to be like, look,
we have 10 followers.
Look.
We're famous.
we're famous.
But yeah, I'm excited to see that. I don't want them to become full New York necessarily, but I'm excited to see that build.
Yeah. No, that's definitely going to be fun. Because New York was obviously a force to be reckoned with. We all know that. They were not a team you made enemies with during the regular season.
Absolutely. They were ridiculous, and unfortunately just couldn't put it together in the final playoff push. But they were definitely far and away the best team for the duration of the year.
Yes. So I think with this, with Wizard being, that's going to sound silly because I understand that New York just started last year, but starting from ground zero on a team, of seeing like, because technically he's a seasoned coach for this now, for Overwatch League specifically, to where it's like he knows how everything's going to work out, where he can make better decisions to build this team knowing what's coming. So I think they are going to pick up where New York left off and push a little bit better with that. Their postseason is going to be better versus their New York's. How, as you said, kind of tapered off. Yeah, they got in, but they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, and having your main tank, like, all right, I've got somebody I know, I got somebody I trust, I can build around Janice, and then have a solid core where then you can swap in, say you have a better hit scan, so a Widow or a McCree player for a certain map. I can just find that one person and swap them in. It's good to see. I like it. I'm definitely liking it.
Yes. I think it would be a smart thing as well. I don't know if they've done it yet, but have Janice be like team captain, so to speak.
I don't think anybody has a captain necessarily. I mean, you have your shot caller, which I know that's what you basically meant. But I think a lot of times that just goes with you're playing scrims and you kind of feel it out.
Yeah. I feel like something like this, your shot caller having the name captain would do a lot, and having like your main something, I don't know, I'm going to say tank because I like tanks the most. Call me biased, whatever. But your main tank be like your assistant captain kind of thing.
Well, you're kind of right, because I've been watching a lot of Jane's streams and videos on YouTube, as you know, and he's an assistant coach for Dallas and Team Canada head coach. So he has a lot of knowledge about the game, obviously. And he even mentioned that your tanks and your supports are your main shot callers.
Yeah.
Because they're not running around nearly as much as your DPS is, just trying to do crazy things and win games. They're surveying the field, picking out the best options, and then calling from there. So you're right that a tank and a support duo, if they could find, say, like, God forbid they got Arc from New York as well, they're one of their main supports aside from Jonak. That's a pretty good core. Like,
that's
I
a
already
core
don't want to face that team. That's it.
Yeah, just in that hypothetical, I don't care about the rest. I don't want to fight that.
Exactly. So it'll be good to see what happens coming in the next, I think we have about 20 days until, 20 days, something like that, until everyone else can sign. So it'll be nice to see. Unfortunately, we haven't heard really anything else from Vancouver, Paris, Atlanta, or the 3 new Chinese teams.
I think for Paris specifically, we're going to have to wait until World Cup is over. Mainly because, like I said, I know they're playing soon. I know that right now they're going to want to see how they do, and they're going to want to pick from most likely those people and how people are doing. You know what I mean? Who's worth it? Because the World Cup being right after the league ends is the perfect way to be like...
It's tryouts. It's the best kind of tryouts, basically.
Exactly, because it's these people now for season 2, right, are essentially getting the season 1 experience of
Yes.
that the rest of the teams got. So when season 2 starts, it's great. No, technically we're going to have our rookies,
Of course. You're always going to.
but they still have that experience. They're rookie, yeah, because they have a year, but they still have the experience of being on the big stage like that,
Yeah.
doing their stuff.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting. I've heard some mild Reddit rumors that XQC may try to come back for Paris because he is French Canadian, which, if they are going to go with an actual French speaking lineup, would be interesting. But I don't know, we've talked briefly about XQC, and I don't want to go any farther into it necessarily. But he's had some a troubled past with Blizzard, and I don't know if he's even interested in the Overwatch League anymore. But I have heard a little bit about that.
I believe, I'm trying to find it, and I'm not going in depth. I know what you just said. I don't think he's allowed back in the league because of it.
I don't know if he's been permabanned. I mean, I know.
I think it was a hush-hush thing for them letting him out so early in the league. Because he was released, what?
Maybe
Second
stage 2,
stage?
yeah.
And he got fined a lot. The team got fined a lot, and he's not that great of a player to...
I disagree with you there. He is a great main tank, but he's also very volatile, which makes him look a lot worse because he wants to be a hard carry type of person, and that's just not how a team should focus. So
Yeah.
again, I just saw it on the rumor mill.
Oh,
Wanted to
yeah,
put it
no.
out there, but
Rumor mills were the one thing. It's just whatever.
yeah, if he comes back a little bit calmer, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing him in the league, just on a short leash.
Yeah, because you have to remember he cost Fuel actual dollars and cents because of it.
Well, so did
So
Profit.
Yeah.
Profit
Money shot profit.
flipped off the camera, like as a
I
joke.
don't remember that.
Oh, it was fairly early on, I believe. But yeah, he flipped off the camera during a live match, right as they focused on his player cam. And it was supposed to be a joke internal to London and that sort of thing. But yeah, they got fined for that, and he apologized and all that stuff. But
Sure.
XQC wasn't the only one. I think he was just the first, so it was kind of a what do we do situation. But we'll leave it there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not the point of this. So, but like we were saying, there's really been nothing from the other new teams that have been announced, which kind of stinks. We still don't know team
Nothing.
names for any. We don't know logo. We don't know colors. Nothing. We don't know shoe sizes. I don't know what jerseys to buy now. It's the worst.
I'm
So
getting
we're
a
kinda
DC one
stuck.
regardless. I have to. Like,
Yeah.
by law, I'm required,
That's the thing.
so I will.
I
But
still don't know if I should buy that London jersey or not. But anyway,
I committed and I'm happy. But
yeah.
yeah, we're still waiting on all of those. I think a lot of teams have opened it up to kind of let the fans decide, kind of create their own thing and submit it and see what becomes popular. I want to say Toronto did that. I know people have created some for Atlanta. They've created some for DC. Again, these are very popular on Reddit and even Twitter. So we'll hopefully hear about that soon and bring that to you guys whenever we get the information.
Yeah, that'll be something very cool to see. I'm looking forward to, for everybody that plays the game, how when you go into the actual, like you load up Overwatch, you go into the league, seeing the 8 new teams on the board.
Oh yeah,
That's going to be so nice to see.
I'm waiting for just the Overwatch League site to have anything.
I know.
That's going to be confirmation because I still feel like it's not real in some regards.
Yeah, I have a feeling this China thing is not going to work out. And it's nothing against China. This has nothing to do with that. But 4 teams for
It's
a team,
a lot in one area.
for a country whose first team was winless, that's a bit excessive.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. The U.S. had its bad teams. Sure. But we had Excelsior, we had the two LAs fighting nonstop.
Yeah.
Philly was a thing to be reckoned with.
Boston had an undefeated stage. I mean, but we also had the majority of teams. So the sample size is a lot different. You had one in China who didn't do well. We had, 9, I think, in the U.S.?
1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
I think
4,
9.
6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9.
So we had, say, 4 that did well, whatever. Then, I don't know. Statistics don't really work out in my mind. But we'll see what happens when the season actually starts and we start to move forward. But
yeah, that'll be fun to see. I feel like this is coming from like a business perspective.
yeah,
China itself is the company here. Like I get it, there's the teams, but this company essentially lost all their money in like their first quarter, let's just say. And now they're like, okay, so instead of trying to fix the one thing, we're gonna buy 3 more things that are gonna make us $1 bajillion if it were.
gotta spend money to make money.
Okay, so let's just say on the
know.
low end.
I know, I agree. It's just we'll see what happens. They're backed by companies, so it is what it is. They kind of choose, I think, where all of this happens. But we still have several teams to discuss all of the player movement, so we should probably start working on that.
Yeah, there's a lot.
we'll
I
move-
think that we'll start from the top down just to make things a little bit easier.
Okay.
Just for ease of sake, because luckily we found a list online. Don did actually. I shouldn't take any credit for that. He found this and it was like a
Reddit,
godsend
man.
for us.
Reddit r/Overwatch League is a great wealth of information.
Oh, they have a Discord and stuff. So if any of you guys want that, let us know. We'll copy and paste that for you. Like, go join it. They deserve all the credit in the world for this because it's beautiful. So, starting first, we have Boston Uprising. 4 players have left or were released, I guess, is the proper way to say it. Starting with Mistakes on DPS, he was released on September 2nd. Kalios, a flex player, was released August 31st. Vast, no, both support players also released on August 31st as well. So, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, so they need to sign 2 more to meet Overwatch League's demands. It's a horrible way to word that, but you know what I mean.
Requirements. The only,
Thank you.
I mean, nothing really surprises me here because they kept their main core. The only one that surprised me a little bit is Mistakes. I know he flexed in a lot and just kind of like what Taimu did for Dallas for a while, and just kind of like that super sub type of thing where we need a certain character.
Go do.
Exactly. So that's the only one that really surprised me a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I have no doubt they're just going to probably pick up 2 and then move on from there.
I think we'll see. This is a horrible word to say for this because the word has 2 meanings here. I think we'll see the meta be 8 to 10 players. I don't think we're going to see 12-player ones.
No, I don't think. I think people will try to keep it small, like you said. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, I think they kept their analysis. I almost butchered that word. And that both of their coaches, which is good. So I think we'll see the same kind of stuff. And I do like their idea of having an analyst on their team to really break stuff down.
It's an analyst, by the way.
Analysis. So
analyst.
Analysis. So we have the 2 coaches, which I know right there, they already proved that they know how to do what they're doing.
Yeah,
and
they
they're
had a good season. They were the 2nd or 3rd team in the playoffs.
Yeah, they did phenomenal. So it's like they have nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, no, they'll be good. I have no issues with them. Just add a couple more people and they'll be fine.
Yeah, they're analyst, like some of us.
Dude, that's literally my job title. Like
because they have a degree.
2,
whatever.
Actually, but thanks.
So anyway, on having an analyst, I think is really gonna. I think is something the other teams should pick up on as well. I don't think you need half a dozen coaches and assistant coaches, and
they made have the term coach, but their job may just be to review film and do what an analyst would do. You just not the correct term.
Yeah, I get it, but look, for me at something like this, I think it's important to split the hairs and go, no, you're an analyst. You're going to sit there and you are going to just analyze. You have nothing to do with coaching. You are going to write me something, and then Bill, assistant coach, is going to go through it and then give it to Tim, the main coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Again, I think that's something because, I mean, we're going to move on to Dallas Fuel in a second, but they have 4 coaches.
Yes, I was going to leave that one for you as well.
I know. Arrow, we all know, is the main head coach, but you might see Jane be, who is technically an assistant coach, be more of the analyst. We don't know. That's something internal to them, and they may not come out and say, like, no, he's been working just reviewing film, watching VODs, and be like, okay, they're trying to do X, we need to do Y. Whatever.
Yeah, we have these people we need to worry about, those people we need to worry about. That's it, kind of a
Exactly. So I agree every team needs one, or they just need to have a day instead of 8 hours of scrims, just watch some film as a team. Like, all right, this is what's going on.
Write some notes, pick people out.
Last game, you guys lost 3-2, but you did this under Rado when you should have done this and flanked around with Hanzo or something. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah, something sitting down and going, picking up the things, obviously the issues, the best things. You know, in business, there's a phrase, celebrate all wins. Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
Came right from you.
Thanks, Pat.
But it's a real thing, and it works in business to where high corporate does it. Of you sit there and you might have lost everything, but you still have your shirt. Something, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Small victories.
Go over it like that I think that will help. And then having the analyst specifically, like I'm saying, would do more. Yeah. But that's a me thing. Obviously, like you said, we may never know. They may say coach on purpose.
Yeah, I know a lot of like football teams and stuff like that will list players on the injury report even though they're not injured. They'll do stupid stuff like that, basically be mind games. Because you may be like, oh, they don't have an analyst. They're not watching film. They're not going to be as prepared when in reality they do. And they're just not telling you. Who knows? I mean, it's a professional esport. Like, they're going to try to play them. They're going to try to do whatever they can to win. So.
Yep.
All right, my boys. Dallas Fuel. We haven't really done much, to be honest.
Actually.
I'm surprised we retained as many players as we did because I thought players would want to leave. Not because we didn't want them back. I thought like Mickey and OGE would want to go play for a better team.
That's the thing, though. You guys weren't bad.
Well, like the stage 4 really kind of helped, I think, bring everybody back together and like, okay, we can do this. But I'm still surprised they didn't like think about hanging on and waiting for an offer from New York or something. But pretty much everybody remains the same. We lost Siegel. Rip. He retired. His streams have been great. Go watch him if you haven't yet.
I subbed to him, and I watched him hit 100,000 viewers at once, and it was amazing.
He's great. Love him.
It's a good time.
We also lost Chip Sajan, who is their support. He retired. He was released on September 4th. I believe he was our Zen a lot of the time. So tough to see him go, but Unko and Harry the Hook were playing more anyways.
Yeah.
So that's an okay loss. And then we also had Coco, who was released and then picked up as an assistant coach on, again, September 4th. And I think he was a support as well. It doesn't list it here, so I'm not 100% sure. But so he's
that was
now
the
an
weird
assistant
thing,
coach.
Valiant did something similar in season 1. I forget his name, but one of our players, because again, we had like 3 billion players that didn't play, and they took him off as a player, assuming, at least in my mind, to save dollars and cents, kind of a thing.
I think that was Grim Reality.
Yeah. They took him off, and they brought him on, not as a coach, but as a coach, like heavy air quotes on that.
Yeah, just kind of probably can do some sort of individual one-on-one, like, hey, have you adjusted your sensitivity?
Yeah.
You turn it off and turn it back on again.
Yeah. Is it plugged in?
Yeah.
no, they did not make a Smoker's Yellow Xbox 360 controller. That's white and you're gross. I will not take this. Please get out of my store.
Well, luckily, we're talking keyboard and mouse here, so. But,
Yeah, I know. I know what I said.
All
You
right.
brought up a bad memory.
So Dallas retains
Next week-
7 players, so we basically just need to grab somebody to meet the minimum of 8, and we'll be fine. So I'm excited
Yeah,
to see what,
I don't-
what Dallas does next season. Burn blue, baby.
Yeah,
Burn
and
blue.
I believe Mickey, he won an award. I can't remember the name because I'm bad with names.
We mentioned it in a previous podcast. I do remember that.
But like that's a big thing to want to jump onto, like a team with somebody that won a big award like that, just for the, well, that means that Fuel is getting more dollars, so that means I may get more dollars. So they become a commodity kind of a thing.
Yeah. Also, Mickey is one of the most lovable people in the league.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that dude. But
Next, we are on to Florida Mayhem, a team, and this may sound strong, that I detest because my God, are they boring. So, let's get ready for this. Start with the losses first. All on September 5th, they lost Swoosh, Logix, Maniten, Zappis, Zabosai, and Zupe. So, being tank, DPS, 2 flex, and 2 support, respectively, going down. It looks like they're clearing house.
Yeah.
Since then, they have picked up Zephyr as a tank, which is neat. So they currently have 2 solid tanks and 2 solid DPS. TVIQ was a pretty decent DPS player from what I remember, so
to Vic. But
that's
yeah.
something they have going for them. I never know when to just say the letters or to spell
I
it
know.
out.
I
Go back and forth.
for some reason very good at remembering hearing this name once and it just clicks. I don't know why. Just I'm that guy.
Because if this is the center line, you're a little bit this way.
Yes.
I'll explain that joke to you later. But they do have, like I was saying before, a head coach, an assistant coach, and an analyst, which I enjoy. Obviously, I don't think their analyst did a lot this season, seeing as they were kind of whatever. They really didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah, I think that was kind of just the play style they picked early on and just stuck with it.
Uh-huh.
I do remember they rotated a lot of people in just trying to figure out what would work best, but
Yeah, because they ended
nothing seems to do
7-33 for the season.
yeah, nothing seemed to really, unfortunately, work for them. I mean, it's
yeah.
tough.
We'll see what happens. It's one of those, like, being season 1, it's hard to say, oh, this is a good team, this is a bad team, because, like, next season, who knows? Like, London could be winless, New York could be winless, both LAs, and, I don't know, Shanghai is a perfect season. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't give a single tick on anything. We don't know.
Yeah, it's
Just-
just there's going to be a lot of things that change, and that's perfectly fine by me.
Yeah. So we'll see with that as it goes on. I'm excited to see how they rebuild, though, all jokes aside. When teams do big dumps like this, it's like, okay, something changed on the inside. Something is
Yeah.
going to be different now, where it's like, this is not going to be the same mayhem as last year, period.
There's
Like,
also
yeah, we have
they dropped a
players.
few good players in there that I think can be great assets as just a single pickup for, say, Dallas, because they only really need one more. But
Yeah.
I know Sebusai and Zupe were good supports for the most part.
Mm.
So if you're missing, say, a strong Zen, I want to say Sebusai was a Zen, not 100% on that one, but you can pick up one of these guys and then just kind of slot in or have a decent Zen in the background, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see a couple of these guys in the league still.
Definitely. I don't think we've seen, and I'll talk a little bit more on it once we get there, but we've seen Seagull retire, and it was an announcement like, I've retired. And then another player for Seoul, Miro,
Mhm.
said he's taking a break from the league to stream and stuff, but we've seen an announcement. I haven't seen anything for these players as far as like I'm retiring, I'm not doing Owl anymore, I'm doing a different league, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're just waiting for actual free agency to open instead of just this 8 teams can do things free agency. So
Exactly.
we'll see what happens there. I have no doubt that a lot of the players who cut are at least going to be looked at by other teams. No doubt about it.
There's no way. There's no way they won't. It's just, I don't know.
So now we move on to Houston. Houston Outlaws, which I was a fan of early on. I enjoyed their play style. To me, they were fun to watch, but they're very, very aggressive. So they really haven't.
Yeah, they were one of those teams that was like,
Yeah.
ooh, what's happening here?
Yeah, they were going for some crazy strats, and it was fun to watch. They haven't done too much, which they were strong for the most part. I think they were probably around 500. 22-18, and they were better earlier in the season.
Yes, that I do remember.
They fell off pretty hard, but they had a good core. So they released Fact Fiction on September 2nd, which tough loss, but I don't think they were using him too much, so they were fine. And then just today, they added Dante, a DPS player, in a trade with San Francisco.
Which I didn't realize that trades were open right now.
Well, yeah, because it's not free agency.
True.
Yeah, so that's one of those weird things, but yeah, so that's a good pickup. I like Dante. I think Houston can be pretty strong. Sure, they lost Fact Fiction. It's a good tank, but I think they can they don't need to add anybody. They have 10 people.
They're very
they're balanced.
damage heavy, though. I will say that. They really only have one flex player, 3 support, and 2 tank. Daneth, I think you said it was. Or Dante, I'm sorry.
Dante.
Yeah. Again, I can't do these names, man. I can't do league speak anymore. I think that's a little too damage heavy, unless they're going to have one of their flexes switch to tank. But again...
Well, they could always have somebody, because I know Jake is a pretty solid Roadhog, so they might have him focus a little bit on an off tank, say a Diva or a Roadhog, just to have that flexibility, because they have 10 people. I don't think they want to grab anybody yet at this point. They don't want to go to 12, so they may just kind of try to change roles internally and create a flex. I know that's what the field did with Siegel. They kind of, he's originally a projectile specialist, and they were like, hey, you need to get good on Diva. And then he...
Like, right now.
Yeah, and then that's what he did. He got good at Diva and maintained a flex. So they might just try to do something like that.
Yeah.
And they also changed around their coaching roster a little bit. They have Clockwork and Mendokuzai, who are added as... One's an assistant coach and one's a content creator. And they were added on the 3rd of September.
Yes.
Other than that, they're very much the way they were.
It seems like they're doing more internal stuff with something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is
they have
perfectly fine by me. Makes sense.
Yeah. They have a head coach, 3 coaches, just coach.
Again, don't know what they actually do.
Yeah. So, bye, Dan.
Bye, Dan.
So we don't. It seems to me this is more of a. They know they have the right equation. They just have to fix some of the numbers in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I have no doubt. Again, they'll be fine. Just move things around to make it a little bit better than last time.
Yeah. So, with that, we move on to our boys, London Spitfire.
This is gonna be a quick one.
Yeah, they have a new head coach, Coach 815, who joined September 3rd.
Oh, that's the best name ever.
They need to pick up one more player, and they're good. That's it. We're done.
I mean,
on to the next one.
They can still make moves, obviously, but
absolutely. No, all jokes aside, like this is one of those things they have to look at it from a different light than everybody else. Of, well, great, we won.
They have the target on their back.
Yeah, they now have to be hyper paranoid with everything about what they're doing, how they're going to do it. Like, they're almost going to have a couple different play styles going into it so
Yeah.
they can save their main one for when it counts.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at the season on a whole for the London Spitfire, they were just okay. They were just a solid team. They finished 24-16. Nothing crazy, not bad, obviously, and they just got hot for the playoffs. So they do have a bit they can improve on, just their overall regular season, but they have a very good foundation. And unfortunately, they did lose their original coach, who left
Shortly after winning,
they
actually.
agreed on parting ways. I think that was just either an internal decision or the coaches, I forget their names, decision just on their own.
Yeah.
But they still have their core. Well, they have everything except for a new head coach. So they can definitely build upon it and be just as good as they were, if not better.
Yeah. So, and funny enough, in the league standings, they're only number 5. They're not even number 1, which is just the best that they won, and they're not the best team looking at stats.
Well, yeah, they came into the playoffs as the 5th seed. I mean, or they actually might have been the 6th seed.
I don't remember, but I know that they were
No, they were
24
the 5th
and
seed.
16.
Yeah, they were the 5th seed. They were tied with Philly. That's why I wasn't sure. But yeah, nobody really expected the run, and they just got hot. It happens. So all right,
now we're on to Glads.
I'll take the other LA. So they made a few moves.
Yeah.
They dropped Silk Thread, Asher, and iRemix, who are at DPS, and Tank respectively, all on August 31st. I think Silk Thread will be picked up by somebody immediately. Great Genji. I have no doubt about it. And then we've mentioned this in a past podcast. Fisher, who was one of their main tanks, who had some issues with the team going into the playoffs, was traded to the Seoul Dynasty on August 20th.
So I have something to say about this, and specifically about the iRemix Fissure thing, right?
Okay.
I think, for the most part, whoever... All right, so they have a performance coach, right?
Yes.
Glads have one. Ritalin, I guess, whatever.
That one I
Ritalin.
have no idea.
Yeah, Ritalin. Ritalin needs to be fired because you had a hissy fit about Fissure not. You had a hissy fit that Fissure said you're not practicing well enough for the playoffs, so you benched him, or he benched himself. I don't really care. He sat on the bench and he was your main tank.
Okay, go ahead.
Then I'm not done yet. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Then you release iRemix. So your main tank you bench, is benched because of internal fighting going, you're not practicing enough. Then you switch to iRemix, who again was put in a bad situation. He didn't have time to practice with the rest of the team like Fissure did. Not on him. He played his best. Period. Nothing bad can be said about him in that sense. But then you release him. That's asinine. That's like, no, you as the performance coach did a bad job. You lost both of your tanks. Like Silk Thread and Asher, like his DPS, it's silly. Yeah, I get that. But the fact that you've essentially gotten rid of both of or lost a tank and got rid of the other one is like, what are you doing? That's silly. That doesn't make sense to me.
All right.
And I can't see a real reason of why.
Well,
but go on.
I'm going to try to remain a little bit more neutral.
Sorry, I've just that's been eating at me.
No, you're fine. I've been saying this since this whole Fissure thing happened. We don't know what happened internally. We have no idea what happened at the practice facility. We don't know anything. Mm-hmm. So the Fissure trade, fine. He said all along he wanted to go to an all-Korean team. It fine. It's whatever. The iRemix drop, he could have asked to be dropped. We don't know that. It could be a personal thing. He just didn't want to play for them anymore. Whatever. I don't necessarily agree with just on a performance standpoint, he should have been dropped. Again, we don't know how he was practicing. We don't know anything internally there, how he performed in their own scrims. I have no issue with it because as an organization, you can do whatever you want. Performance coach wise, I think that might actually be on the GM more than on the performance coach. Because as a performance coach, I think he's just like, oh, you need to work on your flicks. Mm-hmm. They need to be better X, Y, and Z.
Which I get.
I imagine he's a lot like the analysts for other teams.
Yeah.
Or he is like a strength coach type of thing. Like, oh, you need to get your wrist in tip-top shape, whatever. Don't know. But I agree there should have been some sort of internal discussion with management and the coaches and all that stuff. And like, all right, what happened here? What was the actual situation? Maybe we talk to Big Goose and be like, okay, what was going on? And just try to get some information on that. But we will never know any of that information if they even have it. So,
which I get that, but the reason I'm saying it's on the performance coach specifically is the performance coach is going to be sitting there at practices, hopefully living up to the name of watching performances, either during the games and during the practices. You have to see, because let's just say me and you are on fuel, right? Both of us in scrims are great. 10 out of 10. Best player in the league in scrims. But every time I step on the stage and we play, I'm hot garbage. But I'm practicing fine.
Yeah.
Performance coach should see that and go, no. I don't care that you're practicing well. You're not performing well.
Yeah.
Performance coach. So seeing that the team is not practicing well should have been a big red flag of like, well, wait a minute. Let's see that. And according to Glads, they released iRemix, Asher, and Silk Thread from their contracts.
Well, yeah, but we still don't know. They have to say that.
Yeah.
That's whatever. But
yeah, that's just a semantics thing. But yeah, I still think it falls on the performance coach for something. To me, this is where I was looking forward to a Glads Valiant rivalry, and it's still going to be there, but like just a dominance kind of thing.
There's going to be a crazy rivalry. They still have their main, aside from the tank spot, which they can fill with somebody, they have their main roster.
True, but I feel like it. I feel like that this whole thing has hurt the team entirely. Has hurt the team more than it looks like. Because, like, you're right, it is only 2 tanks. You can go find 2 tanks literally right now. Go to top 500 players on PC.
Well, I don't know how much it's. We'll never know how much it's actually hurt the team. But I don't think it's hurt it as much as you think. Because from what I've heard, like, inferred, I haven't heard anything directly, obviously. It kind of seemed more like Fisher was being a little bit of a baby and causing his own issue.
Okay.
But again, I don't know. I'm not going to put any blame on Fisher because I have no idea. I'm not going to put any blame on anybody. I have no information that's actually true. I just have word of mouth from Reddit, from any other news source we can find. I'm not putting it on anybody. But I don't think it's destroyed the team. Like any sort of any team morale, anything like that. Because I think now I don't think they have any Korean players. I know Surefour is not, Big Goose isn't, Bishu I don't think is, or at least speaks enough English that there's no language barrier there. Hydration, not 100% on. Shaz, I don't think is, and Void, I'm not 100% sure on. But it could have been an odd man out situation, which is why he wanted to go to an all-Korean team and kind of force the issue. I don't know. I'm not going to jump down the performance coach's throat or anybody's throat for something I don't know. I don't have all the information on.
Yeah. I feel like I wouldn't be as annoyed at this specifically if they've left iRemix on the team. You know what I mean?
We saw the performance. We don't know if he may not have fit the system anyways. Because
true, very true.
it may not have been on that one performance. Seeing him in scrims the entire time, he may have wanted to go someplace else. He may just didn't fit the system. We don't know any of that, and I wouldn't want to see them keep iRemix just for good looks, as opposed to dropping him and getting somebody that fits the system to improve your team. I would love to hear more information if they would come out and be like, hey, this is why we did these things. But no team in their right mind would ever do that, because then it's just opening themselves up for scrutiny.
Yeah.
Right now they have plausible deniability. They can say whatever they want, and we have to accept it as truth.
Yeah. I think it's the... Okay, so if Fissure was being a baby, right? Like, I'm going to agree with you for a second. Fissure was being the biggest baby about it. Just, I don't care. He wanted to be on a Korean team, and that was his excuse to get out, right? Sure. They wouldn't have let iRemix go because they would have known that.
I think that's a separate issue, because I think that, to me, that's more of a system thing. If you watch that game over, he wasn't in sync with anybody. And you scrim with these people 8 hours a day. You're going to have some sort of chemistry. I just don't think he was a system tank. I think it was, we picked up, say, Team Envy. Like, that's who owns the Glads, whoever owns them, had their team in place already. It's like, all right, these are your players, make do. And it just may not have been the system that
worked.
Whatever their coach's name is wanted to run, and he just didn't fit. I have no idea. None of us know. So I think those are two separate issues, but we can discuss more of that on a later date whenever we have information. I think iRemix we picked up by somebody. But we'll see. I think he'd be a good base tank for like the Atlanta team. Like, it's a good pickup, a good base tank. You can kind of build around him a little bit, or just to have somebody. Like, all right, we have a tank position filled. We can do better. We can do worse. Just we have a starting a baseline. So I think he'll be fine.
So, well, sorry about that tangent. It just, all those things kind of struck me as one thing, and I was very annoyed about that.
Let's move on to a little bit brighter topic. Let's move to your boys.
All right. So starting with the people that have left or that were released, whatever the right verbiage is, people not on the team anymore.
Perfect.
All on September 7th. We have Fincy, Numlocked, and Verbo as the players.
Just
be
quick
flex
pause.
tank support.
How many hours do you think combined they played in Overwatch League?
Less than an hour.
All right, I was gonna give him like 2, but sure. I'm just making a point that you had 12 people. They didn't play that much. They're obviously skilled players. Nothing against them, but losses aren't
you
gonna
also
hurt
look
you.
at the rest of the team, and you're like, okay, I get it.
Those losses aren't gonna hurt you.
Yeah. So we had that being flex tank and support. Like you're saying, it's one of those, like, you have space on tank flex, which, like, you're kind of good at that point.
Yeah.
Fate being main tank, so unfortunately to Numlock, like you're saying, he's not a bad player, but like you have to look at the things.
Exactly.
And then Verbo on support, you have Custa and Kariv.
Sorry, dude.
Like they're 100% going to be picked up by another team. There's no way they wouldn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't have the space to actually play them. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is.
As far as internally, Grim Reality, which is who we were thinking of,
yep,
was released as an assistant coach. I know he started as a player and was very quickly switched over to like the inside of the organization.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any bad blood. I don't think he fit from the very beginning, and that's why this came up. Is like as soon as it was okay to just be like, okay, you're done, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know really what happened there.
Yeah, that was weird. I remember that happening. I was like, that's a little odd, but okay. So
you have enough coaches, it looks like.
Yeah. What? A head coach, 3 assistant coaches, and then a director of player performance.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm not worried. And then on September 13th, we picked up Cookie, which is kind of funny, as a tank player. So now...
I believe they came from Seoul.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Yes. Winston,
So,
Reinhardt, Orisa player. So very,
dive.
yeah. So Liquidpedia,
Mhm.
right, has a thing on the side, and it says approximate. So throw this information away as soon as it hits your ears. Approximate total earnings. Guess what his is? I don't know if you have the tab open.
I already had it open, but
Take a guess anyway.
$30,000. Oh no, I'm
No,
wrong.
very. Apparently only 15 and a half. That's approximate. I'm not going to put any stock into that.
Well,
'Cause
no.
that's just
Baseline, you had to earn 50. You had to offer them 50 for the league. That was the lowest you could offer was $50,000 a year
yeah.
for Al.
So
So I don't know what exactly. I don't think that has anything to do with what's going on
I think that's total earnings
from
from
tournaments.
playing
Maybe.
Overwatch professionally. Yeah, because on
Maybe.
the left for achievements, you can see like
Oh yeah.
Seoul won $75,000 for placing eighth for being a premier team,
Yeah.
or whatever. Runaway, they won seven
Oh, yeah.
grand. Yeah. Okay. So that's probably what that is. That makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense. Okay. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm stupid.
It
So,
is
but
what
other
it
than
is.
that,
Valiant's fine.
yeah, they haven't done anything.
They didn't really need to. They needed to strip players, obviously. They still,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, have too many. They have 10, which
Yeah.
they can't at this point. You can't add anybody without dropping, in my mind. But that's for
Yeah,
them
no.
to do. I have no worries with them.
Me either.
I'll
I'll be worried if Custa, Fate, Soon, Agilities, and Space. So essentially, their regular lineup. If any of those people aren't there, is when I'm going to be worried. That's where I'm going to go. Something's not right.
I'd be fine with losing one. I mean, if you lose multiples, yeah, then obviously. But if you lose like one of your supports, one of your tanks, or one of your DPS, you can pick it up. Like Shadowburn, I think was released somewhere. Or I mean, we've passed several really good DPS players.
Yeah.
Silk Thread, solid DPS.
Yeah.
Like there are people to pick up.
I'm pretty sure Silk
Yeah.
Thread was on Valiant at one point too.
It's definitely possible. I think you're right. I think there was an internal trade in LA. But while you're looking that up, I'm going to move on to New York.
Please, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to keep you from that one.
No, you're good. It's just we're kind of done talking about Valiant. There's not much to talk about.
Real quick, yes, they were traded from Valiant to Gladiators in January, February,
Yeah.
March. April 3rd. They were traded over to Glads. But continue.
Gotcha. So with New York, the only things that have really happened is that they created New York Light.
DC's favorite beer, New York Light.
Basically. So Janice and Wizard Haeyoung were released on August 31st. And boom, they're in DC.
When were
That's it.
they? September 11th, oddly enough, they were signed to DC.
Well, DC wasn't even announced at that point yet. So kind of hard to go to a team that wasn't announced.
September 11th, 2018
No.
is the tweet.
Not that one. I'm talking
Oh,
about August
oh.
31st.
Gotcha.
Like,
Okay, never
yeah.
mind.
No.
I thought you meant like Venom, like it's on the.
No. I meant when they were released. Like, yeah, all right, there was a week or so, whatever. But yeah, so that's all that's happened in New York. I have heard people are inquiring about trying to get Arc, who was their main support, who I believe played Mercy mostly. But nothing coming from that. I haven't heard anything actually solid on that. So that's New York in a nutshell. They'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're gonna have any issues whatsoever.
Nope. It's all right. You can take Philly.
All right, Philly. I hate Philly. Like the city, not the team.
I was
Just
about to
the
say,
whole.
do you want me to take them? I'll take them.
No, I'm an adult. I'll go through it. I don't want to do San Francisco. They're yucky.
I'll take San Fran.
So Philly released 3 people left Philly. Again, terminology being Dayfly, Joe Meister, and Shadowburn. So there you go. All on September 2nd, being 2 support and DPS respectively. I like their organization setup. Head coach, 2 assistants, and an analyst. So They have that. They have good players, like just
They're fine.
all around. So like, they have Carpe, Boombox. I know was good. Neptuno was good. Poco. I've seen a
EQO,
bunch.
Yeah. No.
Hotba. Like they have a solid team. So honestly, with this, I could see them just doing this for more money for themselves as like an organization, and then that's
Well,
really it.
now they
maybe
cut
maybe
down
just
to
room.
what, 9, 10 people? 9.
9.
So
Yeah.
they're a more reasonable organization. Sure, they got rid of, I know, Dayfly and Shadowburn, we picked up, no doubt. Joe Meister, I don't really remember all that well. I didn't watch that many Philly games, but they're in the same boat as London in my mind. They had an okay regular season. They made the playoffs.
Yeah.
But that was really it until they're like, oh crap, it's playoffs. We got to play. And they did. And they made it to the finals. So they're in the same boat there where they have to kind of figure out how to get better earlier, kind of have a good season, solidify themselves, and then carry that same momentum they did this last season into the playoffs.
So while you were speaking, I looked up Joe Meister. Apparently, he is like a hyper professional at esports. It looks like he's
a
been
lot
playing.
of them are. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it looks like he's been playing professional Overwatch since the game came out.
A lot of them have. Like, I'm not taking anything away from him, obviously, but there's this the series on YouTube. It's called like Profiles or something like that, where it goes over a lot of the like main names in Overwatch League. They're like 15 minutes. Like I know there's someone like Surefour, Jonak, Gigery, like all these players at various times during the season, and basically like, oh, they played CS:GO. Then when Overwatch came, or then TF2. Then when Overwatch came out, they were in the closed beta for that, and then went immediately professional. So that is a very normal path that a lot of these players have taken. Again, I don't want to take anything away from Joe Meister because I wish I was in his shoes, but that's not super uncommon. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, it was more of a. I think he'll still be picked up because he's shown that he's a professional kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, good experience. If you need, say, a third support, which is probably what they had him for anyways, for the most part. Well, they had 4 supports, so I don't know. They had a lot of players, and good to get rid of some.
Yeah. So on to San Francisco.
On to the Shock. All right, so there was a few moves here. They obviously lost Dante. They traded him for Smurf, and Smurf is a tank, to Outlaws. Mm-hmm. So that happened just today. And then earlier on in August, on the 22nd, they released IDDQD, Nomi, and Doc. That is a DPS, tank, and support, respectively. And out of them, IDDQD will be picked up.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I've seen his streams. I've seen him on other professional streams. He's a solid player. And then the organization, they actually released their analyst yesterday. So
I wonder if they're going to pick up another one, or
they probably were, because they weren't a standout team. I mean, 17 and 23, 9th in the league. So it's probably just, you know what, we need some fresh eyes.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
That, and it might have been one of those, yeah, you're not picking up what we want to fix kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's definitely moving in the right direction. I think they made some good moves. They lost some decent DPS, which is unfortunate. Sure, Baby Bay is super strong, and Architect does have some really good moments. Sinatra's a strong Tracer. But I guess they really were very DPS heavy. So glad to see them adding another tank. See if they try to flex one of these DPS, because they still have 3 main DPS and a flex DPS.
That's
a lot.
We talk about it like whenever we play, whether on stream or by ourselves, that like there's a reason the game is set up to be, granted, different run play styles, but most of the time it's 2, 2, and 2.
Yeah.
It seems to work the best that way versus, oh well, let's do 4 DPS, a tank, and a solo healer. It's like, it doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah. So we'll see how they try to move things internally, but uh, pretty standard from them. Everything's kind
Yeah.
of staying pretty consistent. So
The unfortunate other California team that's not involved in the LA rivalry.
no, they're getting no love right now, but I
It's the
think
same
they,
thing
I
in
think they're
hockey,
making some
though.
good moves.
Because you have
Uh,
you have
There's
the Kings and you have
so that you got the Kings, the Ducks, the Sharks.
yeah, and the Sharks and the Kings, like when they play, it's a big to do. And there's just Anaheim. I'm just kind of like, oh, that one.
Anaheim has their own stuff, but that's for the next podcast. NHL Watch.
Yeah,
Doesn't
heck it,
have,
we'll do it now. Throw it away. Switch the scene, quick, go,
doesn't
go, go.
have the nicest of rings to it, but we'll figure it out later. So you want to do Seoul?
That brings up this.
This is the last team we have left to do.
Yeah. So very early on, we talked about this earlier as well. Fissure was traded to Seoul. I'm not getting back on that rant again. I'm sorry.
No, we're good.
On September 2nd, Guido, Mito, and Wikid were all released, being support, tank, and DPS respectively. So kind of whatever. I don't remember really seeing them play much. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wakid played a lot. I think Miro definitely played. I'm not 100% sure on Miro.
So I think overall they're okay. They were 8th in the league, 22 and 18. They were fine. There's a lot of middle of the pack. With that as well, Zephyr.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. I think it means he was traded somewhere, but I didn't see him. The chart's color coded, so it changes up and it's kind of annoying. But
To Google.
that's what I try. Still didn't really see much. But while you're doing that, I also mentioned Gambler. There's one of their supports retired on August 30th. So we had 2 actual retirements from the league. Which
A lot of it too is to start streaming.
yeah, I really can't blame them at all.
Which I can't. I think Siegel jokes about it in his streams, but a lot of it's like, well, I don't have to wear pants.
Well, there's that, and there were a lot of people already taking breaks for kind of, I don't want to say necessarily mental health reasons, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That they're very serious, obviously, but I don't know if it's necessarily linked to that or if it was just I need a mental break, something on those lines, just burn out.
Yeah. First and foremost, he was on C9.
Yes.
First and foremost. Secondly, he was traded to Florida Mayhem.
Okay. I'm surprised that didn't show up in the Florida thing, but hey.
Oh, it's okay.
It's a fan-made thing. Oh, it is in the Florida Mayhem thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are we stupid?
Yeah, it is what it is. Zephyr's on Florida now.
Okay, we probably said that before too, and just didn't even realize it.
It's possible.
But that happened September 10th, and then Cookie. Oh, that's what it is. It shows the color they were traded to.
But that one, I looked up there and I didn't see it because I was looking for it in yellow, and it was green.
Yeah.
We're dumb. It is what
And
it
then
is.
Cookie traded to Valiant.
Yes.
So cool. That was on September 13th. I don't remember if I said that earlier. Looks like they left their organization alone. Like
Yeah.
I said, they weren't bad. They were okay, but they weren't bad.
I will say this: they were disappointing. Just
Yes.
from, I expected a lot more.
We've said it probably a dozen times
Yeah.
now. Don and I going into this thought Seoul was just going to sweep. Just go, nope, Seoul wins. Game over.
Going into it, I will be honest, I didn't expect as many full Korean teams like New York. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, I still expected Seoul to be at minimum playoff, most likely first round bye. But I think the additions they made, the experience they gained,
Mhm.
That'd be fine. I'm saying that to like everybody, but I have a lot of confidence in pretty much anybody in this league, to be honest.
Yeah, really. All right, you get the fun one.
I mean, we talked about Shanghai earlier, so we kind
Yeah,
of
but
mentioned all of this. They basically cleaned house.
drinking
They
game.
got
You have to drink the whole time that Don lists off the players that were released, the day they were released, and their role.
I'll, tr-
When he's
I'll
done, you
try
can.
to make it quick. All right, so they got rid of or released Auto, Altering, Damon, Five King, Freefield, Roshan, Sky, and Zushu, all on September 2nd. And their playing position in order is DPS support, DPS support, tank support, flex.
I would have been dead by now.
Yeah, you would have. So they have Dia, Fearless, and Geguri left. A DPS, a tank, and a tank flex, respectively. So no supports. I'm worried if they're trying to keep a certain. I mean, they're based in Shanghai, so if they're trying to keep a certain language barrier there, where they
Yeah.
want to pick up Korean or Chinese or whatever the case may be players, that some of the supports they can't pick up. I could see them picking up maybe like a Dayfly or something like that. So they still have some ideas there. They can grab experienced Overwatch League players. I think they need to shrink their team, only grab 5 more people to make up the 8. I think Geguri played well when she was finally allowed to play. I know there were some visa issues there. Fearless and Dia, they were fine. I have no issues with keeping them. Everybody else, I don't know if they're gonna get picked up anywhere. Maybe on like split up between the 3 other Chinese teams. I don't know.
It's one of those things. The team spoke for itself on how they played. Now,
Yeah,
win loss, yeah, they're the worst in the league. They're 0
40.
40, yeah. 0 40. They're in last place. But I don't believe they were swept a lot. I don't
No.
think it was like a slaughterhouse kind of deal where it's like, oh,
I
you
mean,
lose.
Take this with a grain of salt, but they took Dallas to a lot of 3-2s. I mean,
It's still taking a team to a 3-2.
yeah. So I don't. They weren't as bad as their record shows. I don't think they just couldn't close the deal.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. Like, they're in a weird spot. They really are.
Yeah. Definitely need to add players as soon as free agency opens for them, and
Now, I
get
wonder-
straight to work.
Yeah, like definitely it's going to be, a free for all kind of thing, but I almost wish they would go back to front and be like, all right, Shanghai, like after the expansion teams, Shanghai, you're in last place, go do. You have first pick.
I don't like
Just
that because it's free agency, so you already have kind of first pick. It doesn't really matter because you can contact 4 teams can contact one person. You just offer them more money than them or a better deal for whatever reason. Like, hey, we'll give you dental, whatever it is.
Dental's expensive, man.
Exactly. So
Like, I may take a spot, make no money just for dental. Like,
I don't think they should do something like what you're suggesting unless there was an actual draft where it's like, okay, everyone gets like one freebie where you don't have to negotiate, but then you're not helping the player at all unless it has to be a rookie. Like they have to have never played professional Overwatch. But then it's just I don't like that idea. You're just adding too many uncontrollable variables that just don't need to be there in some regards.
yeah.
I think they already have an idea of who they're going to go after, and I don't know if they're even allowed to contact them now, but they may be trying to figure some things out already. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be it's definitely going to be weird, and I think depending on how this goes, I have a feeling it's going to be kind of sloppy and not in a good way. Where with the free agency, I feel like a draft would do
But then
the league better.
it's unfair for the players because now they can no longer negotiate. Because
Well,
sure, you can negotiate with the team that drafted you,
mhm.
but you can't be like, all right, say you're Shadowburn.
Mm.
You've got 3 teams coming after you. Now you can be like, all right, I want this much money as a fair market value, say $75,000 per year, whatever it ends
Yeah.
up being. It's all right, so everyone agrees to that. Then there's going to be an internal bidding war for that player if they want him that bad. So at that point, you're now no longer helping the player, you're helping the team, which I agree you kind of have to work both ways a little bit. But for right now, I don't think we need to implement anything.
Yeah.
If we get to be like 30 teams, then yeah, I could see there being some sort of a new trying to add new players to the league,
Yeah.
rotate some. I don't know.
It would be a weird mix, like in my mind at least, of like, okay, so we're going to we're gonna have our free agency, and I'm using the term wrong, the free agency, and then something else where I don't know, teams can talk to themselves, and that has or whatever the order is. So I feel like it's just something's gonna have to happen.
Yeah, I think if the league expands more, or after season 2, we'll see kind of how things go. We also don't know what the attrition rate of these players is going to be. How many are going to retire after next year? Just burn out playing Overwatch and just kind of want to chill, stream, relax.
Yeah.
We may see next year if Valiant's happy with their roster. They don't do any changes. Or maybe they just drop one and only need to pick up one, or don't pick up anybody. I mean, I don't think there's going to be as crazy of a transition as there is in, say, the NFL or other physically demanding sports that you can get serious injuries and ruin your own career that way.
Yeah.
This
Because that's
isn't
where you
going to
see the
happen that
increase in
much.
pay as well, just because like it is a thing of like, you know, you are going to get hurt. Plus, it's like the supply and demand thing, which is a whole other thing, which I'm not getting into.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
overall, you know, people get paid so much because like if you tear your ACL, you're done.
Yeah, and I get you can get carpal tunnel and all of that stuff, but it's not as serious as.
But without saying names, our band teacher had it and is fine.
Oh yeah, no, surgery afterwards is a lot easier than a complete ACL, MCL tear. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how the transition rate happens next year. If we lose the same kind of like 20, 30 people cycle in and out, then maybe we can start doing something like that where every team has like a designated spot for a $50,000 rookie. Like first year, never played professional Overwatch. Like they just basically picked a top 500 off of PC, and then they can do whatever they want with them, type of thing. But
That makes sense. I definitely agree
so I
with
know
that.
the MLS, it's the Major League Soccer North America. For those who don't know, or in the U.S., they have a certain. I think each team has two. I forget the actual term. But it's like a designated player where they can pay them more money. So say you only have $15 million in salary cap. They can pay them like $10 million, and it doesn't count against their salary cap. So you can get better talent in, pay them what they're worth, and then also keep your normal team paid where they need to be. So you're not wasting $10 million on for a name. DC United just got Wayne Rooney, who's a major English soccer player. So he's probably on this designated list where he's making 10 times more than probably the guy next to him, but isn't actually hurting the team. So you might see something like that where they have a dedicated spot or two for new talent, more expensive talent. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm just spitballing, but
Yeah, no, I get you on that point. I guess my overall point is that with the expansion, there's a lot we don't know, and a lot of things I'm seeing already that I feel like are delaying the league and delaying the information to us. And I feel like that's mostly just me being impatient. I want season 2 already.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I want it to start. Like I don't
Absolutely.
care if preseason is like 600 years. I want to know what the new team names are,
I
what
want
their
something.
logos are. Yeah. So I'm just putting the cart before the horse, really, because I'm anticipating the worst, to where either the new teams or the returning teams, one of the two, is not going to get the right players because of something silly as far as like free agency. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Well, it's possible, but the teams who already have the players have the rights to deal with them first, obviously. But I think
yeah,
what we need is we need a year, like go through a season and not expand for a year. Just don't have to deal with any of the expansion stuff. We just have a normal off season
yeah,
where you can actually just, okay, this is what's going to be our normal status. And then if you want to expand after that, it's fine. But you just need to know what normal is. And right now, expanding, adding, basically doubling the league, this isn't going to be normal. We're obviously not going to be doing this every year. So I think after this year, or after season 2 or season 3, sorry, then stop expanding. Just let it calm down for a second.
yeah.
But money talks. So
I don't know. We're also just speculating at this point.
absolutely.
I think we've gone over all the stuff really being the movements in the teams. That was huge.
Yeah.
This is the stuff we've been waiting for, and having this nice list that these people made is like the best thing.
Yeah. Thank you to all of the creators who made this. I can't pronounce like any of your names, but thank you so much.
Really, so it's one of those. Thank you for that. That helps us a lot. Yeah. We will be back Monday with our normal Monday stream as always. I have started school again, so that's why they've been pushed back. Nice hour and change ride from my campus here. So
Yeah. So we'll aim to start at 9 on Mondays, just like we do on Tuesdays. And if it gets pushed back a little bit, we apologize in advance. Things happen.
yeah,
We
Yeah,
don't
there's
want
nothing we
Ken
can
to
really
try to
do
rush
there.
and drive, take an hour drive in 45 minutes and then get in trouble or something like that. So,
yeah, no. And then it's been trickling in other information, but I think unless we get another huge dump, like let's just say all 6 teams get announced this week, it's like, oh, okay, another one of this, another podcast. As much as we love doing it, but without the information, we're not going to sit and bore you guys for 20 minutes and be like,
exactly.
new team came out. I like their logo. I like the use of green.
Yeah. Also, we both want to play a lot more Overwatch and start experimenting with new characters. So,
Yeah,
kind of want to play a little bit instead of just podcast sometimes.
true, very true.
At least
Especially
for
since
right
this is
now.
time we have bookmarked off.
Exactly.
But we're rambling at this point. So thank you guys so much for joining us again.
Yeah.
Means a lot to have everybody come in. Thank you, Dan and Jet, for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you guys so
Um,
much. Hopefully, we'll see you
we-
next week for the streams.
Yeah, we will be back Monday playing for 9, and we'll see you then.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.